Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Living a Graceful Life. So happy to be here and so happy and honored to have my guest, Carmen Reyes, with me this evening. Good evening,
Hi.
Carmen.
Hi.
Hi, and thank you so much for joining. I want to talk a little bit. Carmen is here to inspire us and for us to learn a little bit more about her journey. So I want to hear about you and how this journey started.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for being here, especially on a holiday, right? On a Monday. I really appreciate it. Well, I guess to start off, I mean, I started my journey. I should say I started my journey really having a little bit of difficulty with my weight. So I'm right now I am currently 50 years old, and when I started my journey I was 48. So I have two kids. They're grown already, 20 and 16. And I was having issues trying to get my weight off after having my kids, and of course with the background of obesity in my family, that also takes place. But I think I was noticing more the struggle with losing my weight when coming into the whole premenopausal stage that all of us go through
Yes,
as
we
women.
do. We
Yeah, so
do.
it's I didn't know how hard it was, so it's like, obesity, that whole line of obesity in my family, to then have that whole premenopausal thing going on. It's really tough. It's really hard. And no matter what you try to do, and if you haven't educated yourself, or if you do not have the if you're not blessed enough to like bump into someone that really takes a hold of you and takes the time to educate you on what it is to not lose weight or not go on a diet, but a lifestyle, because that's what this is. You have to make a lifestyle. This you have to change a lot of things, obviously, but if you know how to manage it's doable. It's doable, and you could still enjoy life. You could
I
still
think
enjoy
that that's exactly what you said is absolutely perfect. And I think this is something that I didn't understand for many, 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 many years. This diet, that diet, fasting, 14-day juice cleanse, keto, paleo, no carbs, some carbs, all meat, until I realized this has to be my life. So I have to
right.
choose. And I have a mother who has been in wellness for 43 years. So my blessing exceeds all by having the person that I can say, Mom, I have a
Yeah.
little bit of a pinch in my neck. Oh, well, all of these things. You very fortunately told me your story, which we've spoken about. Tell us how you started with Inspire.
I started with Inspire back in 2023, the beginning of the year. It was ending 2022 was really bad for me. I was going through a lot of changes. First, like I said, hormone wise, um, at home. And I mean, and I'm ladies, gentlemen, if there is any gentlemen here, I'm just gonna be black and white because that's just me.
Yes.
My marriage was super rocky. That took a whole toll on me. Stress wise, it was crazy. And so I was really feeling myself like really in, like I was going like into a black hole. I was like, I was at a point that I didn't know what else to do. Towards the end of 2022, um I got to a point where I felt that I needed to talk to someone. So I reached out to a counselor who's also my spiritual mom. And at that moment, she didn't see me as her spiritual daughter. She saw me as a person that she was, counseling. And I just laid everything out on her, and literally she like ripped that band-aid off, and she took like my blindfolds off. And she's like, listen, you at this point are not loving yourself. You're thinking about everybody else. You are putting everybody else first. You've done so much. You're an amazing person, but you put yourself down. You just push yourself to the side, and you've created this character, this helpless character, this person that you just don't even care about yourself, and you just push that to the side. And you need to understand that you need to first retake you, learn to love you, be you, and then you can continue. So one day, I mean, she was telling me all of this, and I was like, wow, like literally, she ripped that blindfold off. And so the following day after that, I told myself, okay, this is a time where I have to start to learn to love myself, because I was not at all. I was forgetting about me. I forgot about me. And so I said, the only way I know that I can start loving myself is to try to lose weight. In my head, I'm like, but here we go again. Where do I go? What do I do? Do I do keto? Do I do Weight Watchers, which worked for me at one point, but then I gained the weight back. And so I was like, I don't know where to go, until I saw that Inspire ad. That was like, I mean, just the word, just seeing the word inspire was just like, oh my gosh, okay, Lord, what are you trying to tell me here? So I'm like, okay. So I started looking, I went into their website, I started looking at things, but they didn't have that much information. So back then they had a tab where you can hit and you can schedule a consultation. So I said, okay, Carmen, this is it. Let's schedule this. And I was like, if I don't do it now, I will never do it. So I was talking to my husband about it. He's like, well, and once again, black and white. He was like, well, I mean, it's up to you. You can do it. But I mean, if you're going to do it, you need to finish it, because you can't just go and pay money and then just do it halfway, because you can't do that. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So for me, that was like, in some point it was like discouraging, because I'm like, can't you just be able to, lift me up
Yeah,
and
be supportive during
yeah,
this
support
process.
me and all this and all that. And I was like, okay, you know what? So what I did was that I was like, I'm gonna show you that I can do it. So, because that's how we are. You give me a chance, you know what? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna prove you wrong. I went and I did that. And thing is that the person that started Inspire, I known her for so many years, because we were in the Christian environment, the dance ministry, dance realm. And so I knew of her. And when I saw her, I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. This is her stuff. So definitely that was another plus for me. And I went ahead and I did my consultation. So I scheduled my consultation, and the time came, and I went to her, and I was with her for a while, because not only did she educate me on so many things that I didn't know about, like my health, myself. Like she had me like, obviously with Inspire, everything is customizable. So everybody gets something completely different. But for me, she had me stand on a weight, like on a scale,
Mhm.
and I wasn't expecting what she was telling me, what she was going to tell me. So this scale, just for some way, somehow, you get on that scale and it gives you all of your numbers. I was so like amazed. Visceral fat, I didn't know what was visceral fat. The fat mass, the fat free mass. I wasn't educated on that, and she took her time to educate me on that. Also what my body age was. I was 48 years old, but that scan told me that I was 80 something or 70 something years old. I had a body of a 70 something, 80 something year old. So I was like, oh my gosh, this was all for me. It was crazy. My visual fat was, because I took a look at my scan the other day after we spoke. I was like, wait a minute, let me look at my numbers. My visual fat was at 17.8, and that is super, super dangerous, because for us women, we're supposed to be at 10 and under. And
Mm.
being at 17 point, it was 17.2. That was super high.
Yeah.
And so it's like she said, Carmen, we need to get started. And I was like, you know what, this is gonna be a huge sacrifice for me, but this is what I told myself. I said, if I can spend money in buying crazy stuff, why am I not going to do that to invest money for my health?
Because Carmen, that is, and we spoke about this, your health is our health is our wealth.
Yes.
And if I tell people, my friends, my clients, my students, what we spend on our wellness, just the supplements I was speaking with you about, the microbiome, the
Mm-hmm.
essential oils, the food that we buy, eat completely organic, and everything grass fed, so that we can literally nourish. That is all. We don't spend on anything, literally anything else but that, because that's what we need. So
Yes.
this is not a sacrifice. This is a gift that you're doing for yourself.
Yes. Yes. And that's exactly how after we spoke, I mean, I was with her for about 2 hours and a half because I was asking her questions. Okay, so what about this? Like, and again, she was going into details with me, explaining each and everything out of that scan. And how our organs, like our liver, has all that fat, and that is the dangerous stuff. Again, doctors don't get into details with this stuff
Exactly.
because they don't get to the root of the problem. They'll just put a band-aid over it so that way you can continue coming back. And no, we really need to educate ourselves, because once again, you can't think about, oh, I'm going to go out and diet and I'm going to lose weight. No, it's your lifestyle. You have to change it. You could still enjoy food. And that's another thing that she teaches you, because I was on a 6-week program. And in that 6-week program, she gave me a metabolic booster. She gave me a detoxifying liver pills, right? Everything is natural. And she also gave me a vitamin booster as well. And so that, taking all of that for the 6 weeks, I used to with the metabolic booster, that's something that you spray under your tongue three
Okay.
times a day, 3 times a day. And that kind of like starts burning all that background fat, if we want to say that, that way you can have like a visual of it, because it's the background fat that it's the hardest to lose. Like she says, we have a wall, and then in that wall there's another layer, and behind that layer is where all that hidden fat is at. And it can
Mm.
go through just the first layer with anything that you do, but because you're not killing the fat behind that wall, guess what? You get off of that diet and you're going to go right back again. If anything, you gain that weight double.
Plus, and when I was following your journey originally, what personally inspired me was your whole story when you do the little videos, and that's how I got to have her here. But was also that I love that you're open not to take a shot of something. Not that I'm
Oh, yes.
telling anybody, everybody, but to be quite honest, which I am, to take a shot or to take a surgery or something, if we can, and I tell myself this, and it's a motto now that I'm living by. Nothing is ever going to taste as good as I'm feeling. And that's I tell my mom even this, because this is our life. You have a family, I have a mom, and little birds and students and clients and friends and people that count on us to be the example. And what you've done, which I love, is you've involved your family.
Yes, yes.
You
It's I think that throughout my journey, my family, once they started seeing that I was serious about this, they were the biggest support system that I had, aside from Inspire, because Inspire doesn't leave you. Like, they're with you there. You have any questions, they are on it. They will, they literally, the word coach for them really stands for them, because they are like your cheerleaders. They truly are. And it's like, okay, you know what, if you fell off the wagon today, you know what, let's just do this. Let's continue. Let's go. Let's move forward. Let's not even dwell on that. Let's move forward. But my family was a huge support for me. And I with them seeing how I was head on with this, how I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this. I have to do this. And when I started seeing the weight coming off, not only weight, the inches, because that's
Mhm.
another thing. It's like the inches that come off your body. And when I was seeing that, I was like, oh my goodness, like, this is crazy. So my husband, I like he said, I was an inspiration for him because my husband, he suffered from high blood pressure and diabetic. All of that runs in his family. Like diabetics, um, um, high blood pressure, heart attacks, strokes, you name it. And so he was suffering from the diabetes and the high blood pressure. And they put him on a high blood pressure medication. He didn't like the way that made him feel. So he stopped taking that. No matter what he tried to do, his sugar levels were not coming down. I mean, his sugar levels were like almost to close to 300 until he told me, babe, you know what? I want to go ahead and do the program. I want to go ahead and go have a consultation with her. I want to see what she tells me. She did the same thing for him. She sat him down. She explained things. His program was completely customized for him because of the diabetes and the blood pressure and all that stuff, right? So his first like on his third day or fourth day on the program, he saw his numbers coming down from the two something and they were coming down to the 100s. A week after him doing the program, they went under 100 for his blood sugar.
It's
His blood,
amazing, and that's the whole thing. The show that I told you about, the Food Revolution, where
uh-huh.
they did the 10-day um test with people that had diabetes. That was what they were doing. It was 10 people, and they all went off their medication in 10 days by eating the plant-based, but also by cutting out the carbs and the sugars. And this is something, and I think a lot of people don't know this because this is all new information, just like when I spoke to you earlier about the situation where about the pro and prebiotics.
Yes,
I would just think somebody with that would know, but people don't. And people have a thing that they say, well, it runs in my family. Genetics is something like less than 3%. They're doing this proving now. If you think about how the family ate, you
yes,
know, the patterns. So
yes,
that's what brought what, you know, what happens. Now you get a chance, like we spoke about your daughter being on this, which is
yes,
beautiful. You get to change the way your whole generate, you know, it's going to change everything for everybody.
yes. Definitely, definitely. And my daughter is only 16 years old, and it's not something that I pushed her to do. Um, it was, I guess, again, I guess, and I say I guess because I'm like so like, for me, I'm like so humble, right? But when they talk to me and when they tell me these things, it's like, wow, you guys, I'm happy that I can be that inspiration to you. But she was inspired at the fact that, I lost weight, I'm keeping the weight off, and it's like, mom, you know what? I want to go ahead and lose weight because, again, once again, it runs for her on in her situation, it runs
Yes.
on both sides of the family. It runs on my side and it runs on my husband's side. So not only the obesity, but again, high blood pressure, the diabetes, all that stuff. So yeah, and with my husband having Crohn's,
Right.
that also runs in the family. So she was like, mom, you know what, I want to get some weight off. And I'm like, really? She's like, yeah, I would like to join Inspire. And I'm like, okay. I said, are you sure this is something you want to do? Because this is a commitment. And it's like I tell everybody, the program is only 6 weeks. 6 weeks, because it teaches what it does is that it detoxifies your body. It detoxifies everything, all the nastiness that's in your system. It helps you clean yourself. So then after you do that, Inspire teaches you how it introduces foods again, but it introduces the right food, because really, in all honesty, we don't even know what we be putting in our system. A
Exactly.
lot of
That's
these foods are what you could, the inflammations of all these foods, dairy, some meats, some vegetables, even the same thing, even for fruits, the sugar that a lot of fruits contain, that you think that may not harm you, but in reality they have so much sugar that they do.
and
And
also
so,
the ultra processed, which people don't realize is
yes,
it's absolutely poison. And it's something learning about. You got the gift of, I have my mother. I mean, how much better could it be? But you got somebody that really seems to know what she's talking about. I hope you don't mind. Can I ask how much you've lost overall?
I
Like your
no, Not at all. You know me, I'm an open book. I'm an open book. I have and I will continue um uh posting videos because I do have to take that up again. I'm actually joining a challenge that Inspire has going on for the next 3 weeks because I have reached the plateau. And so I need that push. Again, being open, being honest, because that's reality. That's what it is. You lose the weight, you lose a lot of the weight, and you get stuck in a little plateau. So I spoke with her and she's gonna, I'm gonna go ahead and join this 3-week challenge. So get ready because I'm gonna be posting again.
Yes, yes,
So
yes.
I'm gonna be doing this, and this time around it's gonna be adding to it because now I have to do like between 20 to 30-minute activities every day. So you guys might be joining me for a little walk and things like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. But to answer your question, when I started with Inspire Weight Loss, I was 248 pounds. And today I am 202 pounds. So
Perfect.
I've lost a total of 46 pounds, and I've also lost a total of 43 inches because believe it or not, it makes a difference. So that I can give you kind of a insight of that, I was a size 18 and now I'm down to a size 14.
That's beautiful.
So it's been a journey because it is a journey. You can't, I mean, every day we have to make those smart choices, and it's not to say either that you can't enjoy yourself and treat yourself once in a while, because I mean I do. I treat myself, but it's all about balance. If we know how to balance, it can be done. It doesn't have to become a chore, it doesn't have to become a homework, it doesn't have to become something that you're suffering because all you're eating is probably just salads. That is not, just eating salads alone all day, every day. That is not helping your system out.
Been there, done that.
Me too. Me
I mean,
too.
and then
That's what I'm
this,
saying.
yeah. And then when we get off it, I went on a 13 and a half day only juice a few months ago, and I lost, it was either 11 or 12 pounds like that. And I was so that I went off it, and I went off it so hard that I put every pound back, and it was by like almost, and it was like I deprived myself so much. In fact, I broke the fast, which normally they tell you to have like a soup. I went and got a burger and onion rings. That I got a grass-fed burger, so in my mind, and I had one
Uh-huh.
piece of the bread. But imagine my system in such shock. I probably
Yes.
put on 3 pounds, and then it just went, and then it went into, which I'm sure you understand, a little bit of a depression. The high
Yes.
from doing something like that, and it was done for different reasons, but one of them was to shrink my stomach. And
Mhm.
now, because my mom and I are so into researching and learning, and I spoke with you, I have been a bulimic. So I have to be, and I haven't been for almost 10 years, but I did do damage through with my metabolism, again,
Yes.
going through
Mhm.
menopause and doing these things that are happening. So learning that, like you, if I completely deprive myself, we went out for a belated Mother's Day lunch with a friend of ours, and I did have some steak, and at Longhorn, and I did have a little bit of different things, maybe even a piece of sweet potato, but I don't want to just completely deprive myself like I've done,
Right.
because I put it right back, truthfully.
Yes, yes, yes. So you have to be able to, again, if you know how to balance, you can do it. It's like Martha, because the owner from Inspire, her name is Martha, and Martha was telling me, you know, when during the 6-week program, she would tell me, okay, I need you to take your carbs because it would give you, again, once again, it's the way they teach you how to eat and the things that you should be eating. So she's like, okay, so your carb intake, I would love for you to get that, to take that at lunchtime.
Mm.
Why? Because it's where your body is more active and everything. When you come home and you have dinner, is where you want to relax and just, from the day, you want to wind down and everything. So she would say, your carbs, I would love for you to have them, if possible, you can have them at lunchtime. And then for dinner, you have your veggies, like your squash or your zucchini, and make sure that, if you have red meat, she would tell me, if you have red meat, just make sure you have it just either once or twice a week, and it has to be, you have to give it like a 3-day span, because literally it takes 3 days for red meat to flush out of your system.
Mm.
So if you have it back to back, guess what? You're not going to see that weight going down or anything like that. And you're going to be like, okay, you're going to start freaking out, obviously. And you're going to be like, oh, you know what? This is not working. Wow, I ate this. I'm going to go ahead and, you know what? For that, I'll just have, I don't know, a
Whatever.
cake or whatever, because, I'm not seeing this. This is not working. And it is working. But again, you have to learn. You have to be able to educate yourself. So,
Well, and what's interesting, when we spoke previously, we spoke about people that are avid exercisers. I love
yes,
exercise, but the food is so crucial. I know people that look very physically fit and well because of much movement, and then something catastrophic happens with their health, clogged arteries, God forbid, heart attack, different things. So the balance of the whole thing, that's what I like about Inspire too, is they're encouraging you to move and encouraging, looking at the whole thing. And I'm hoping, as far as it seems like you're open to learning. And that's
yes,
why I loved watching your videos so much, because it was a time when I started, which was a year and a half ago, which was a really weird transitional time. A year previously, I'd stopped by gambling and little things going on. And I really wanted to work. I wasn't drinking. I wasn't smoking. I was doing everything to get well. And I was struggling, even having literally like an encyclopedia of information living in the house with me. I still was resistant to change, because we are resistant to change. We have been doing, why do you think people have diabetes running through their whole family? They eat the same family
yes,
barbecue, the
yes.
same family dinner, and you're the one now that's going to change that. Your daughter's lost weight, your husband's losing weight. It's all going to be to where your son even sees, even though he doesn't need to lose weight per se, but he needs to
Right.
be on the bandwagon, so that he can stay well. And you're doing such a blessing for your family. You don't even know, because you're really literally, your daughter will be saying, when she's like, my mom is the one that got me eating like this and doing all of this, and now I'm going to teach you how
Yes.
to do this. Really, it's amazing. And tell me a little bit, Inspire, how can somebody reach them?
Well, Inspire is here in Davie, and because I live in Davie, so it's
I
here in.
love Davy.
Yes, I love Davy. It's in Davy, and you could either find them on the web. Their website is www.inspireweightloss.com. I do have their phone number as well, so if anybody would like to go ahead and call for a consultation or anything like that, you can do so. The number is 954-837-8811, and you
Oh,
can go ahead
beautiful.
and you can go ahead and speak to any of the coaches. Anybody that picks up will be able to assist you. Any questions that you may have, they're going to be able to assist you. And I can say that all of the coaches there are like 100%, like, they're cheerleaders for you, because they truly are, from Martha to all the way down, trickling to her staff as well. So it's like I always say, it's been an inspiration for me. They have been an inspiration for me. They have been my lifeline. They saved me, because again, I was at a point where I was like, this is my last straw. I truly looked into the 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 surgery for the band.
Yeah.
I looked into what else did I look into? I looked into having surgery, just like, just going under the knife, and it's like, I'm so tired of this, I'm just gonna go ahead and do this. I was looking into so many things, except for stopping myself and saying,
Well, yeah, this is the whole thing. And we literally, I can't even believe it's gone so fast. I could talk to you for another 3 hours, and I'm sure we will in the future. But the bottom line is, you and I spoke about this: eating less and moving more, eating the right foods,
yes,
and just eating less and moving more is better than any other solution. I'm just saying, for me.
yes.
And I just want to thank you with that. This has been, you're so wonderful. You're very open and honest, and I really, really appreciate that. I am so proud of you. I really am. I feel like I know you very well, and I hope we get to know each other because I think you can help me and I can help you. And with that, I want to wish you a beautiful night and with much gratitude. Thank you
Thank you.
so much.
You're
Thank
welcome. Thank
you.
you.